Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome to this week's Sadakayan program organized by Quantum Meditation Society London. As always, we will be talking about some things that are extremely relevant to all our lives, that affect all our lives. And then we will participate in a meditation together. What we're talking about today is our mind's power to heal our bodies, specifically the power of belief in healing our body. And you may know this already, but let's start with a story, a true incident. So this happened during World War II. So during World War II, obviously a lot of soldiers got injured and they needed treatment, they needed care. So in one such case, there was a doctor called Dr. Henry Beecher, so who was administering care to soldiers, injured soldiers, giving them painkillers, morphine to be exact. So he was giving them morphine to ease their pain, give some relief to them. So what is not unnatural under these circumstances, he ran out of supplies. He ran out of morphine. Now, he didn't know what to do. A nurse gave him this idea that, why don't you just give them saline water, but pretend you're giving them morphine, because they're desperate for morphine. They're asking for morphine. Keep on giving them injections. So they think that they're getting morphine, but just put something in it, something that is not harmful in it, like saline water. So he did. He kept injecting and pretending that he was giving them morphine. But what's interesting is that 40% of the soldiers who got injections of saline water actually said that they felt relief from pain. This saline water eased their pain. So this is the first time we know of in modern history where we got this indication that even if we give somebody something neutral, something we know that has no effect on that particular process in the body, just because someone is expecting to feel better, expecting an ease in their symptoms, they can actually feel better. So this phenomenon, the fact that just because your mind is expecting something to happen with regard to your body, it happens, is now called the placebo effect. And the other side of the coin, the flip side of this is, just like positive things can happen when your mind is expecting it through harmless things, through things that have been proven to have no effect whatsoever on this thing, negative effects can also take place when you have negative expectations. In other words, your expectations have a lot to do with what is happening in your body. Let's think about our body and healing a little bit. When, we normally, and it's changing, but typically, at least when I was growing up, nobody thought diseases and staying healthy, staying disease-free, staying fit is primarily my responsibility. Pretty much everyone around me the food they were having because they found it tasty. So they would have lots of sweets, they would have lots of rich food, biryani or beef curry with lots of fat in it. So what you're eating did not necessarily depend on whether it was healthy or not. It depended on the food choices you made, depended on whether you found it tasty or not. Exercising was not a very common thing. Other ways of taking responsibility for your health was not very common. People just went on with their lives, and then they kind of thought that diseases are kind of a matter of luck. And if they got sick, if they got some kind of illness, they went to the doctor and they put all the responsibility on the doctor and the medicine. So they think that medicine is this magical thing that will come and solve your problems, you know. But we are at a stage of human history where most of the diseases that affect us cannot really be treated with medicine. So 8 diseases: diabetes, high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, that's like a fats, lipids in your body, cancer, polycystic ovarian syndrome, dementia, and a couple of other, let me see, did I say cancer? And a couple of other diseases. They account for 75% of all the expenditure that is fatty liver disease, all the expenditure that is made in healthcare. So all our focus is on like healthcare's resources, money, time, what the patients are, what is taking the doctor's time, what patients are reporting, is 75% of that goes into these things: heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, cancer, dementia, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and fatty liver disease. So, and none of this, you can actually do anything miraculous with medicine, you know. These are all because medicine can't really go and address the root causes. These are all caused by lifestyle factors. So we're in a phase in medical science. There was a phase just before us when, like, just maybe a few decades ago, until a few decades ago, where it was mostly like bacteria and virus driven. So a lot of vaccines and stuff had a lot to do, or antibiotics had a lot to do, but we're not in that phase anymore. We're in a phase where these other diseases actually make up the bulk of our physical problems. So when these things happen, or in general, when you have a physical problem, who really solves it? Is it really the doctor who solves it? Think about just something very simple, like you're breaking an arm. You broke your arm. You go to the doctor. What does the doctor do? The doctor puts your bones together and plasters it so that they can move away, so that it stays that way for a while. But can he actually attach the broken bones? No. So who does that? Your body does that. Your body does it. Nature, the universe, has endowed your body with the things it needs to keep itself safe and healthy. That's why spiritual masters say, look, health is normal. It is normal to be healthy. It's not normal to live forever. Death is normal, but it is normal to live healthy. Like people have seen that in people's throats, there are like millions of bacteria, like maybe meningococcus bacteria, but still they're not getting meningitis. Why? Because you have a vibrant immune system. The universe has given you, nature has given you this vibrant immune system. So that's why we say health is normal, disease is an aberration. And oftentimes, when we're sick, we can simply get better by activating the reactions, the processes in our body that's required to heal that particular disease. So it's a matter of your programming, it's a matter of telling your body that this is what I need. So that is why placebo effect works. Because why? Actually, your mind is the best doctor and your body is the best pharmacy. However, the body can sometimes, the mind, the doctor in your mind can sometimes get confused. But in that case, you can direct your mind towards healing. So that's why placebo effect works. Let me give you there's this very interesting example of the placebo effect that's actually from quite some time ago, like it's the 60s, okay? So there was this doctor called Dr. Bruno Keffler who reported this incident. So he had this patient called Mr. Wright who had cancer of lymph nodes, which is like spread so much. Now he had like orange shaped tumors all over his body. He was very weak, very feeble. He was totally bedridden. He couldn't walk anymore. So basically, they'd given up hope. This last days, he's just waiting for to die, basically. So while he was in the hospital, he somehow came to know that there is this new research about this substance called crebiosin, a horse serum that's going on, and researchers are hopeful that this may be something that is very effective against cancer. So when he heard this, he told Dr. Keffler that please give me crebiosin because I heard that you are doing tests here. Why, testing its effectiveness. Why don't you give it to me? So Dr. Keffler said, okay. So he gave him an injection. On the third day, the doctor's coming in and he sees like he's up, the man's up and talking to the nurses. And his tumors have now gone from the shape of like the size of an orange to a shape of a golf ball. And even like when they did the ultrasonogram stuff, like the ones inside his body had gone down. And in a few days, they kind of disappeared. Now he was fine and he was discharged. Now, a few weeks later, he unfortunately in the newspapers came the news that researchers are thinking, no, this crebiosin thing, this was like a false hope. It doesn't really work. When he read that news, his tumors came back again. He came back again. He had to be hospitalized again. Now, this time, Dr. Keffler did something which I don't think doctors these days will be allowed to do. He said, no, you were wrong. Actually, the report you read is false. Actually, doctors are finding that crebiosin is actually quite effective. So then he said, then why did I get my tumors back? He said, like, because we gave you like a weak one. We gave you a weak batch, but you are very lucky. Right now, there's a shipment on the way that is a few times like stronger than the strongest of the crebiosin we had before. We have to wait a few days. We'll give it to you. So then a few days went and said, okay, it's finally come. So we're going to inject this strong crebiosin into you now. So they did. And I think he get sugary water or saline water. He didn't know, of course. And then again, the same thing happened. Within a few days, his tumors as if they melted away. But, and then he went back, he was discharged, he lived completely healthy for 2 months. But then after 2 months in the newspapers, once again, there was this news that now doctors are definitively saying that no, ribizin is ineffective against cancer. His cancer came back, he died. So this is the power of belief. And I have so many, like I've heard once we started talking about these things, I've heard so many stories. I have heard of like how, like a lot of Muslims, they really trust like a saint or a dervish, and people go and get holy water. And I've heard of incidences where people got holy water, they were supposed to, but then they forgot, and then but they gave something else, but then the patient actually got better, or I have like there are lots of these stories I have heard in my personal life, and now doctors are finding too. So this placebo, researchers are finding too. So this placebo effect, for a long time, doctors just thought, oh, it's the researchers that thought that this is like a nuisance. Like when you're doing a research on a new drug, like some people, you have to administer the drug to some patients, and you have to give something that is kind of ineffective to the other patients to see if this thing is actually different from the sugar pills, right? But what happened is like every time you do this kind of tests, like 18 to 80% of patients get better from just a sugar pill. So these are what a nuisance, because like it's making our research very difficult. But only like 2-3 decades, like last few decades, they're like, so if people get better from expectation, why not look into it a little more, and why not see what this is all about? So now there is a center in Harvard, there are serious researchers looking into it, and it's very interesting how people get better if they believe. So if you have, if I give you you're sick and I'm telling you like this is medicine, if I give you just a white pill, some people will get it. But if I make the pill like smaller and blue, it looks a little more official, right? Then a bigger percentage, a larger percentage of people will get better. If instead of a pill, I give you a capsule, and you will get even a larger percentage of people will get better. If the capsule is white, less people will get better. If fewer people will get better. If the capsule is blue, more people will get better. If I give an injection, even a larger percentage of people will get better. All of this, by the way, is not anything that actually has an impact. It's all like sugar or saline. All I'm doing is making it look more official. So if I give you an injection, even more people will get better. And if I do a sham surgery, if I put you under anesthesia and then do open and do nothing and just close it, but you believe that you had a surgery, even a larger percentage will get better. The point is, the more likely you're to believe that this is something that is very cutting edge, very effective, this should work, then the more likely you are to actually get better. And people have tried all of this, and this is what they've seen. So this is something new, but doctors, like we've had like legendary doctors, they always had intuitively knew this. I'll tell you very interesting, I find it very interesting story from the Indian subcontinent. So there was this very famous doctor called Dr. Bidhan Roy, who was based in Calcutta, legendary all across India. So one day, you know that the Indian subcontinent, it was divided into princely states, right? So there were like rajas and maharajas, right? So one day, the Maharaja of Darbhanga came and told him that he had a problem of aches and pains, and the aches and pains are they kind of go from one part of his body to another, and obviously he's a Maharaja. He has no shortage of money. He has consulted all the doctors he could at home and abroad, all the best doctors of the day. Nothing has worked. So then when the Bethan Roy, he listened to him, heard his story, and then said, your problem is very, very complex. There is a solution, but do you think you can afford to pay for it? Because it's very expensive. And then the Raja got really upset. He erupted. He said, "What do you mean? I'm a Maharaja. How? What do you mean? Like I can't afford to pay for that?" And then Bidhanrai said, "Oh, sorry, Maharaja. I wasn't sure. I didn't recognize you. Of course, I understand." So then he said, "Okay, I'm writing this prescription. You have to take this paper to this person," because in those days there were people called compounders who actually made the drug right then in front of you, mixing different kinds of chemicals. They said, "Go to this compounder, give him this note, and it will cost you a lot of money, but he will give you this medicine that will surely work for you." So he went, and then the compounder came with this medicine. After a while, gave him. So in the note that Dr. Bidhan Roy had given the compounder, said, "Here's the medicine. It will just cost you something equivalent to this many pence, but take like this million, equivalent in today's money, like this many billion pounds for him, or rupees for him, and then just give that money to charity." So why did this Maharaja get better, and why did he do what he did? Because the Raja's problem was, like, he thought nobody was giving his ailment importance. Like nobody was like treating it with the seriousness it deserves. So he got that. So he gave something maybe others have given, but he made it sound super expensive and exclusive, so that the Maharaja felt, "Finally, I have the kind of treatment I deserve as a Maharaja." And then he got better. So it is really not the placebo, but our mind that is healing ourselves. But it's so interesting. People thought, "Oh, this is just psychological. You psychologically think you're feeling better." No. If I give you, like, say, something with morphine injections for a while, and then I give you a placebo saying this is morphine, your body produces morphine. If I give you ibuprofen for a while, then after a while it will like give you just some sugar or something, but say similarly looking packaging, similarly looking drug, your body will produce the cannabinoids, I think they're called. So if it's like for Parkinson's patients, like they will produce like dopamine. The body has started producing 200% the dopamine it was producing before, because it was followed by some dopamine producing medicine. So your body, if you can give it the message like, "Hey, this is what you want," it will produce the exact same substance. If after an organ transplant, I'm giving you like immunosuppressants, maybe cortisol, in drugs, and after a few days I just give you sugar pills, your body will think, "Oh, this is a cortisol," and will start producing cortisol. And all this is now, it's actually it's supported by research. So it's not what you're taking, it's what your mind is thinking. And in quantum, we have used this fact about the body and the mind and the body to we're very grateful to accelerate, to help the healing of thousands of people. Thousands of people, they come with migraine, they come with aches and pain. A lot of, in our courses, a lot of people come who cannot really walk anymore. They come in crutches, they come supported by others, they can't lift their arms. And every time on day 4, we'll see like, oh, that person's walking again, he or she's lifting his arm, that the ache and pain is gone. It's just happening in 2-3 days. And then a whole some other diseases. I'll give you some details next week, from skin problems like psoriasis to asthma to diseases I've never heard before. One time, like a patient came, person came, who was like salivating, who was suffering from excessive salivation, like he was like had like saliva, overflowing with saliva the whole time. And this has gone on for many years. No one could do anything. And suddenly on the day, and the day 4, he was healed. At the day of day 3, usually that's when we're doing our healing meditation, where we basically create the belief within ourselves, give this belief to our body, to our mind and body, and then that works. So that he was completely healed. So next week we will we will actually do the healing meditation. I'll explain the steps and what you need to do. This week we'll do relaxation again. And if you are someone who has a physical problem, right? Because like some maybe like you have problems with your period, or maybe you have like some kind of like problems in your asthmatic tendency, or maybe you have like some digestive issues, or you have problems with the common things like heart disease or other things as well, diabetes, high blood pressure. I would suggest that you do the relaxation meditation this week, so that you are ready for the healing meditation next week. Okay. Other than that, you can just like participate, and then you know that you have this tool in your healing tools, in your healing tools box, to use when you need it, or a loved one or someone needs it. So I think I will leave it at this today. Just let what I say sink into you. Like, if the mind believes, it can heal a host of diseases by itself. So just let it sink, and we are going to go to our meditation now. We're going to do the relaxation meditation again. As I've said, we say this is the one that is at the left of a lot of zeros. So the more relaxed you are, the more your thinking mind is kind of like the less it comes in the way, and the more whatever suggestions you're giving to yourself goes to your subconscious, which is really in charge of a lot of things that are happening in your body, in your mind, in your life. So let's do the relaxation meditation again. Okay, as always, give me a little time, and if you have any problems, write it on the chat. Okay, so that was our talk and meditation for today. So we'll formally end our Sadhakayan now. But if any of you want to talk about something, I am here. Please raise your hand, and then we can hear your feedback. Or if you have a question, please free to ask me or message me. And then if you don't, then thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next week. Until then, as always, keep in touch with your inner joy, your inner positivity, and take care of yourself. Thank you.